What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Oil Stream here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle with you, and Zach to come in his finest green and gold. And there's going to be a lot of green and gold and orange and blue this weekend in our fair city. There's going to be some navy on baby blue with the Riverhawks going tomorrow. Stingers have been in action, so you got some navy and yellow there. It is a phenomenal sports weekend in the city, and last night it began with the 75th anniversary dinner held by the Elks, which you and I had the good fortune of being at, as well as Zach to come, YouTube Trev, Holy ST crew, minus the Rider fan, Lieutenant Eric, which we respect his decision. But we had some fun, man. That was a great night, and you guys took it to 11 after. Silent Nice, boys.
It was a great night.
You are a trooper.
Thank
I have
you.
to say.
I'm
Shawn.
battling right now.
You are battling.
Battling the waves. Hot. Cold. But it was a fantastic night.
Yes.
It was a fantastic night. Great to see all the alumni in the building.
Yeah.
Some familiar faces. Cheeseman, unbelievable
Brian
human
Cheeseman,
being that
yes.
guy is. And there was just a good buzz, an overall vibe to the night, and it was an unbelievable event.
It was really well done.
Yeah, it was really well done. And then we got carried away.
All right, Talkers all Shawn Belle with you on the eve of the Stanley Cup Final, Game 1. Bellsy, we did have a great time at the Elks 75th anniversary dinner, but some of us more fun than others. I was down at Commonwealth today. Warren Moon, Ricky Ray, Tracy Ham, Damon Allen, Matt Dunnigan, Michael Riley. Like, I took the picture of them. They're having their alumni luncheon. I'm just like, oh my God, they're taking a picture with the Grey Cup. I need to get I need to take a picture and share this with the world. And I don't know how many of those football guys did you chat with?
Not many of them, but DeBlanco for sure.
Yeah, you saw because he was on the hangout with you a couple weeks ago, right? And
I sat there, I chatted with him for probably like 10 minutes.
Nice,
unbelievable guy, but yeah, we just went to our table and did our thing.
Had a time.
Mandrak's speech.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. If you haven't caught it, we're gonna get into the Stanley Cup Final, Game 1. Obviously, media availability is happening. It's media day down in Florida. Fort Lauderdale is the home base for the NHL. We're gonna definitely dive deep, as it is our final day of coverage before we get into tomorrow. We'll have the pregame show. We'll have the Elks pregame show as well. But let's really hit something here that's important in the sporting community in our city. You talk about Dwayne Mandrak added to the Builders Wall, which is a new feature going to be at Commonwealth Stadium, rightly so.
Yep.
And Bellsy, he did deliver a speech. Obviously, there was frayed. It was a frayed relationship. It blew up when they didn't bring him back for the 50th season, and it was a big step in the right direction. What did you take away from that with Dwayne Mandrak?
Well, he means so much to that franchise. He's been around for forever.
Yep.
The relationships he's built with the players, staff, management, can't go unnoticed. And the way that it kind of went sideways obviously was really disappointing.
Yes.
But the fact that I think they recognize the fact that we should probably recognize this guy, Dwayne. And I felt it was definitely in the right direction, step in the right direction.
Yep.
to restoring maybe that relationship. But unbelievable speech.
Yep.
Very well deserved, and couldn't be happier for him.
Well said, Bellsy. And Dwayne Mandrak kind of reconnecting with the double E. Fantastic. Great way to kick off this 75th anniversary season. Lots of Oilers connections there last night. Yourself and saw Kenny Lowe was sitting with Dwayne, and Dwayne also touched on Joey Moss.
Yeah.
And how, Wayne Gretzky called Dwayne around 86, I think it was, or 83, somewhere around there. And he said, hey, we've had Joey in the locker room with us during the hockey season. can you bring him on with the football club in the summer? Because Joey would be like he'd have his routine. He'd be working hard. He'd be a beacon of light in the locker room for the Oilers. And then in the summer, he wouldn't have anything to do.
Yep.
He'd be back at home. He wouldn't have his job, his tasks, and stuff like that, and he wasn't keeping busy. So, as Dwayne said, Joey would have a regression, and then he'd go back to training camp with the Oilers. It'd take time to get going again. The Elks took him in. Eskimos at the time took him in under Dwayne's tutelage and guidance, and then Dwayne's kids. I played against his son, Matt, who's a goalie, and they became really good friends with Joey. And so there was that constant, Joe, you're at hockey? Okay. Joe, you're at football? Okay. And I remember talking to Joey, hey, when do you go to football? He's like, when the season's done, I'm going to football. Are you excited? He's like, yeah, I like going outside. And then, hey, Joey, when are you going to hockey? Oh, next week. Sparky says I have to go. Okay. And you had Joey as a player.
Yep.
You grew up here.
Yep.
Was there like this is weird. Like now here, Joey's picking up my jersey, my socks, and I grew up watching this guy, and I know his legend.
Well, it wasn't weird. I mean, I think he liked to razz people. Guys like to razz him back.
He called me his son to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the only crazy part. Like when you actually get in the locker room, you can hide behind the scenes, obviously, and the level of razzing. It was
something. The stuff he said, not fit for air.
It's
great
not
jokes.
Fit for air.
Yeah.
One of the funniest ones though is when he was wrestling. He ended up wrestling Penner, and
that's insane. Were you on that team?
I was on that team.
Oh my
and
God.
Joey's in his underwear and he's got his belt and he did the entrances and he's wrestling Penner and he tried to stick his finger up Penner's.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But just hilarious. But Joe was awesome. So giving him that recognition, just fantastic.
Yeah. So obviously Joey Moss, huge part of the Oilers, huge part of the Elks, Eskimos at the time, and some great recognition last night. Obviously, two great organizations that have worked together and in conjunction with one another, shared successes at the same time. Absolutely tremendous. And so there was also one thing that Dwayne said too is when he's like, they would do La Bamba every day coming home from the stadium and it would be nice out. And Dwayne said he'd have all the windows down and he would just crank it. And Joey, and listen, I used to MC the Christmas party for the Oilers.
Yep.
And every year it's like, hey, you have to bring Joey on at this point. And all it was for Joey to sing La Bamba.
Yeah, amazing.
So great stories there. Great crossover between the Oilers and the Elks. And we'll have you covered all day tomorrow. Starts with Hello Hockey, myself and Bellsy. And then it will go into the Elks, Green and Gold kickoff show with Matty Iwanek and Jay Milne. Live at Century Casino. If you want to go take advantage of the specials there, then hop on the train, go to the football game. I hope the weather isn't as bad as their forecast. It was supposed to be so nice. And then I'll be down there. I'm working sidelines for the football game, myself and Dusty Nielsen. And then you are on co-hosting with Trev for the Oil Stream pregame show, along with Matty Cassian. Zach Decum will be at the helm. We'll also be going with the Elks postgame show with Milne and Iwanek. It's going to be wall-to-wall coverage tomorrow here on EST, and then I'll make my way down to Hudson's Bourbon Street, or Bourbon Street, as it says on the sign. And are you good to do post-game tomorrow? I'm supposed to ask you because Cass is unavailable.
I don't know yet.
That's going to be a yes. And so we'll break it all down. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Okay, we're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios. Popeyes, things just get better at Popeyes as the new crispy chicken buffalo wrap is now available. 2 classic hand-battered and breaded mild chicken tenders with bold buffalo sauce paired with fresh lettuce, tomato, and mild or spicy mayo wrapped in a soft flour tortilla. Available in store or delivery. You want one right now because I know I do too.
I don't.
Okay.
I actually don't. I don't know what I need, but I need something.
All right, let's go. Let's get some lines. We've got lines. Game 1 of the Cup Final. We're talking about it. Finally, we've waited a week for this, and we are just about ready to go. This is coming from Sunrise, Florida, from one Ryan Bartholomew Rashog. Rashog has Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman flanking Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl centering Evander Kane and Dylan Holloway, Adam Henrique between Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown, And then you've got McLeod between Fogle and Perry. On the defensive side of things, it is Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Ceci, Kulak with Broberg. What do you make of that?
Looks like they're going a little bit heavier.
Right, they are.
Yeah.
And it was interesting listening to Chris Knobloch the other day. Before the team flew out, he was saying, we want the guys who are playing well, but it looks like he's going to guys like, if we're going to be seeing Fogle back in.
Fogelli.
Warren
Get him
Fogelli.
back. He's going to be flying around the ice trying to hit people. Obviously, he's a bigger body, so I think you're going to need a little bit more of that
Grit.
physical presence, grit against the Panthers. So this is actually not quite surprising to see that he'd be back in the lineup.
Here's one that I'm kind of looking at going, well, we got McLeod fourth-line center right now. Mm-hmm. Why not Derek Ryan? Why not Sam Carrick, who, when he's gotten in there, has filled in admirably? What do you think the rationale is behind McLeod getting the start at center on the fourth line?
Oh, he played well in the last couple of games after he sat out. His reset time.
Yeah.
Comes back in. He provides speed to that line. You do have to. The Panthers are interesting because they play heavy, but at the same time they're a pretty good team. They've got some speed, so you have to be able to do more or less the same thing. So you don't necessarily want to pull McLeod out because his elite trait is his speed,
and he has skill.
He's got skill as well. So trying to get in on the forecheck and put defensemen under pressure, that's what he has the ability to do because of his speed. So you don't want to necessarily take that on the lineup.
He's going to need to elevate his game. And
100%.
Yeah, the reset helped and all of that, but he hasn't been anywhere near as effective as the Ryan McLeod we saw at times during the regular season. Now, obviously, off to a horrible start, missed all of training camp with an injury, and his game slowly kind of found its way. But in the playoffs, more miss than hit with Ryan McLeod, literally, too. Yep. He doesn't lay out on the body very much either. So this is interesting. And here's the counter from Florida going into game one. Okay, these come via Steve Goldstein, who covers the Panthers. He's got Barkov between Verhaeghe and Reinhart. That's a great line. Sam Bennett between Tkachuk and Rodriguez. Three very good veteran NHLers.
Yep.
And definitely some grit and determination with Bennett, and then Tkachuk. Turtle, Rat, whatever you want to call him. Yes, we're very well aware of that. Okay, here's where it gets interesting, Belsy, because a lot of people talking about the Florida Panthers and the depth that they possess, and you're looking at these lines and you're going, well, maybe it's because we don't see Florida that often. We don't appreciate what these six guys can do. Lundell between Eetu Luostarinen and Vladimir Tarasenko. We all know Tarasenko,
yep.
Right? Kevin Stenlund centering Steven Lorentz and Kyle Okposo. The familiar name is Kyle Okposo there. Is there something you know about those six that we don't, or maybe can give us some insight into why are they considered so deep when you're going, who's Luostarinen, who's Lundell, who's Lorentz? What do I need to know about Stenlund? Because we know Okposo, a little long in the tooth, but still effective. Tarasenko, maybe not as sharp as he once was, but still pretty darn good.
Lundell's pretty good.
I know Lundell.
He's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
He's kind of been. He hasn't been necessarily around the league in multiple spots, but he's a good, honest, hardworking player. And he just kind of adds, he fits in very well to that lineup and what they're trying to do. So, yeah, he's a good fit, and I get why he's there.
Mm-hmm. 35-point guy in the regular season.
Yeah, so he can contribute. He has the ability to score, put points up,
12 in 17 games in this postseason.
It's a hard guy to play against. So that's exactly what you have in that bottom six. There's a little bit of skill, there's definitely some grit, and they make you earn basically everything that you get. So it's I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're deeper than Dallas, because I'm not sure I necessarily feel that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
these guys have been to the dance. How much of a factor is that going to play into this?
I think these guys are more top heavy than what Dallas had. More of a spread out lineup.
Right.
These guys are a little bit more top heavy. But yeah, like the experience of playing in the Stanley Cup Finals is big because you understand the pressure, you understand the different moments and the ebbs and flows in the Stanley Cup Finals. You're away from those jitters. Your first year into the Stanley Cup Finals, for sure, you're probably nervous going in that first game and second game, and you just understand that you just got to play. So having that experience is obviously big. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out for Florida. I don't know. Lots of people talk about, Barkov and I'm drawing Ekblad right now and how they shut players down. I'm not sure they've ever had to face off against Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid. Like, I don't think they've had that big of a challenge.
I agree with that. And that's the thing that I'm looking at with the Oilers, because I really don't know where this series is going to go. Yes, the Panthers have been a team that's been considered a favorite this year. The Oilers were going into the season, obviously terrible start to the year. We all know that. I wrote them off on November 9th on the post-game show sitting at this desk, and they went on an absolute tear after that. Good on them. I said they shouldn't have been that bad, and they've turned it around. And then they've kind of, resurfaced as one of the contenders or a cup favorite. A lot of people picked them going into the playoffs as a potential Stanley Cup winner. The Panthers have been a constant, consistent team that people have looked at and said, yeah, that team could do it. And so I don't know where this series goes, but part of me, Bellsy, thinks that McDavid and Draisaitl themselves being so close to a Stanley Cup just kick it into another gear that we maybe have never seen before. And they just see it in their eyes. They see the finish line, and they find that second win, third win, whatever the hell you want to call it, and they're going to just drag this damn team with them.
Yeah, I can definitely see that for sure. Like, you're right there, and you can taste it.
Yeah.
You're going to do whatever you possibly can to drag this team to the finish line, for sure.
780-218-9999. Text us. Get in on the action, Paris Jewelers inbox. And then if you're watching on YouTube, hit us up via the Nasty Chat. We want to hear from you. And I'll get to those as we progress through the show. The defense for the Florida Panthers. You kind of talked about Ekblad there. He's been paired up with Gustav Forsling.
Yep. Forsling's been playing really well this playoffs.
Yep.
They've been an elite shutdown pairing for the playoffs. Every line that they've gone up against is essentially went, 0 goals, 5-on-5?
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
17 games into a playoff run. Nico Mikkola paired up with Brandon Montour. Montour was a guy that when he was kind of toiling with Buffalo, I was like, if I was the Oilers, I'd take a run at this guy. And I remember at our old shop, people were like, you're stupid. What are you talking about? Yeah, maybe I am. But I like this player, and he's been great with Florida. So he's been excellent. And then Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a bit of a renaissance with his career in Florida after a tough go in Vancouver. And obviously, not a lot of good things happened in Arizona the last few years. Ekman-Larsson gets out of there and then goes to Vancouver. It wasn't going great there, gets the buyout, ends up with the Panthers, and he's settled in on the third pair with Dmitry Kulikov, the former Oilers. So that back end, what stands out to you? I know you talked about Forsling and Ekblad and how they've been able to shut teams down, but it seems like a pretty good defense.
Yeah, it's a pretty good defense core, but I mean, once again, like they benefit from obviously big minutes from that top pairing.
Yep.
And the matchups that they've had, yes, they've been good. The Rangers are a good hockey team, so I'm not taking anything away from them. I just don't think they have faced off like a team, the Oilers. Because lines 1 and 2, they're pretty strong.
Yes.
Lines 3 and 4, they're pretty strong.
Yes.
So I think if you're the Oilers, and we've talked about this before, you've got to kind of play, similar. Well, you have the ability to either go super skill or you can actually go heavy as well. So if you can kind of play right down the middle, but the biggest thing is the same as Vancouver series. You got to get pucks in behind their defensemen. And you've got to make sure that they are consistently under duress. Make them make plays when you're all over them. It doesn't mean that you're going to run them every single time, but making sure that these guys are trying to make plays under duress, it will be hard. It will wear them down. Ekblad, you got to finish on him.
Yeah.
So I think you have the ability. I think Edmonton has the ability to do that. I do think that the difference between the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference is that the Western Conference was way faster. When I was watching the two different series, I'm like, okay, well, this one's a rugby scrum. This one's hockey. It's speed all over the ice. Mm-hmm. Maybe that makes it harder for Florida to come in, knowing that the speed is just at a different level. Maybe. I don't know. But interesting. It's interesting. There's interesting factors going into the series.
Almost like a clash of styles, if you will.
100%.
The Oilers got their asses kicked by the Panthers in the regular season, by the way. But we've heard it time and time again. Regular season doesn't matter. We heard it when we were talking about the Canucks series. And then in the Dallas series, we didn't really talk about it. Edmonton went 1-2 against Dallas this past season in the regular season and managed to win that series in 6. Really quickly, on the Panthers defense, Brandon Montour has led the team and the back end in ice time. He's played 23-24 on average, followed by Gustav Forsling, who's at 23-18. Aaron Ekblad at 22-37 time on ice per game. And then they spread it out okay. Kulikov's the guy that plays the low minutes. After Ekblad, it's Mikkola at 18-52. Ekman Larson at 15-14. And then Kulikov bringing up the rear at 13-57. Kulikov, a long-time NHL
That Mikkola
defender.
is a pretty good D-man, too.
Nico
He's
Mikkola?
big. Yep,
Yeah.
He's big. He's rangy. He's physical. But he's one of those guys. He's similar to Zadorov. You get pucks in behind him, make sure he's chasing you all over the ice, wear him down. Montour, he can skate. He's got good skill.
Yep.
But to me, it's almost the exact same series as Vancouver. It's going to be physical. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be grimy. Find a way to wear them down. And when I saw games 5 and 6, I'm looking at it and I'm like, the Oilers are starting to chip away at the Vancouver defenseman.
Right. Is it going to be as hard to get to the middle of the ice in the offensive zone like it was against Vancouver? Because those guys you called them sequoias.
Sequoia trees.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. I think it'll be equally as hard. The Florida forwards are better than Vancouver's forwards as a whole. And they're going to provide obviously good back pressure. Like they don't quit on the ice. If they have an opportunity to, they're backtracking, back-checking, whatever you want to call it, like they come back hard. The Florida defense is able to step up better because they know that they have back pressure. They make it hard for you. They make you earn every line. But once again, I go back to this and I say, okay, well, the Oilers are used to this. They understand how to play that way. Right, chipping pucks a little bit more, using their speed as a counter, and then once again, McDavid is going to draw so much attention because he is that big of a difference maker that he's going to open up room for his line mates. Draisaitl's been a beast. He's going to open up room for his line mates because you know that more often than not, Tkachuk and Bennett are probably going to be faced off against Draisaitl.
I have a question about Tkachuk. Because we're going to hear from him shortly. I saw Zach. You got that audio? Yeah, okay. There have been some that suggested, well, it's as simple as Evander Kane taking care of him like he did in 2022 against the Calgary Flames.
He's a different player now.
Explain. Because I want to believe that it's as simple as saying, Evander, that's your guy again. Yep. Do what you did 2 years ago. But part of me questions that, and I feel like you have the answer.
I think he's better at picking his spots now. I think he is... He understands that he can't be in the penalty box because he's a bigger factor on the ice than when he's in the penalty box. So you're starting to not see him get drawn into nonsense as much. Okay. He still very much likes to be a part of it.
Sure.
And he very much has that game. But I think he's maturing. He's understanding how to now manipulate that whole system, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to give a little poke, but now I'm out. As opposed to before, he was in there, he was chirping, he was pushing guys, he was trying to do all sorts of stuff and really try to be that physical factor. I'm not necessarily sure he does that as much anymore. Way more disciplined than he used to be. So I think you almost have to... I think you just got to be a little bit harder on him. I think that you got to make sure that every time he has a puck, you're hitting him, right? You just... stay on him, wear on him. And then maybe at some point he reverts back to that nature where he's like, hey, I'm tired of getting hit. I'm tired of getting this. I'm tired of getting that. Maybe I'm going to start to lash out. So I think you just got to play a little bit of a different game and just be a little bit smarter.
Interesting. The evolution of one Matthew Tkachuk, who happens to be in the nasty chat. He says, welcome to your nightmare, Kane, and then corrects me saying, Rat Turtle King to you, pretty boy. All right. Let's hear from the Rat Turtle King, Matthew Tkachuk.
Kind of like a Christmas Eve feeling right now. So it's been a long week trying to keep your mind off it as much as possible and just enjoy, I guess the warm weather, be outside as much as you can. But it's hard not to think about Game 1, and now that it's finally almost here, it's more exciting now than earlier in the week.
You got games 3 and 4 in Edmonton. There's over 2,500 miles between there and here. What are you doing on the plane?
I'm just going to play poker. That's it.
Matthew, what's it like playing the Oilers again? A team you have a lot of history with?
I guess I know them more than probably most guys by playing in Calgary, but we just had the one playoff series against them that they won and played them a bunch in the regular season. But there's a lot of different guys over there. I was just saying earlier, I don't even know if I've faced Skinner yet since he's been on the team. Maybe I have, but it's different. It's definitely different over there. They're playing great. They're a great team. Finally got to watch some of their games against Dallas, playing every other night. In our series and their series. So it was good to watch their games. They played really well and ultimately deserved to win the West. So should make for a great final.
Matthew, it almost happened.
Yeah, it's been amazing. This is the best place to live, play. It's been unreal. The guys are so awesome. It's a really cool group of guys. It's the trainers, everybody. Everybody made me feel so welcome from day one, which I think led to success early. And now 2 years later, we're going back to the second Cup Final and hoping to have a different ending this time. So it's very, very. It's a very good time to be a Florida Panther. I'm enjoying it. I love being down here. I love playing here. It's been, the best thing for me. So I've been loving it.
You've got a film crew following you around, sort of giving people an inside look at how you're living both on and off the ice. What's the benefit of that for hockey?
Yeah, I got the Amazon crew with me over the last little bit. So, no, I still don't really know what it's ultimately gonna look like, but I think it's cool for we love watching all those shows, whether it's the golf, the tennis or the Formula One or whatever it is. It just kind of gives a good sneak peek into how athletes are on and off the ice, I guess. So I think it's very cool, and it's a great idea by them in the NHL, and I'm sure everybody's going to like it, I'm assuming.
It's almost like stepping into Hollywood. So what's the most Hollywood thing about you then?
What's the most Hollywood thing about me? Oh my gosh, absolutely nothing probably. So this is new for me. Yeah, he's got a 1970s Hollywood mustache. Not so much anymore. Yeah, well, first of all, the support around here has been amazing. It keeps growing almost daily from when I first came, and when I, going back to when I first started playing in the NHL for Calgary, coming down here, 2016. It's night and day from what it is right now, and you see the success that the team's having. And it's only helping everybody in the community. And so many people are into hockey. People are coming up to us left and right. In Fort Lauderdale, or I've been in West Palm and Miami the past week, and both places all the way, both sides of it are just so excited. People are talking about hockey everywhere in South Florida, so it's really cool. And I don't remember your second part.
It's hard. It's not comes to mind when people like this about history, and especially you come from a hockey family as well. Obviously, there's a lot of things that come to it.
Yeah, no, I'd just say the first thing that comes to mind is when you play a team in Canada, there's a different type of, I guess, passion and spotlight, and everybody in not only Edmonton but Canada is going to be glued to their TVs this series watching. So it's definitely you see playing in Calgary, you see the passion that Canadian fans have, and I don't think it's much different from the fans down here right now, to be honest. Everybody's into it. It's going to be a great series.
What do you think?
All right, there is Mr. Rat Turtle King, according to Matthew Tkachuk in the nasty chat, who follows up with, "This guy is the best interview. The wisdom, the cunning wit, the absolute charisma. What a look or two. Take some notes, pretty boy." Thank you, Matthew Tkachuk in the nasty chat. Appreciate that. Join the conversation. Get into the nasty chat if you're watching on our EST YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, tune in, Apple Music, or, of course, our EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player. You could text us, 780-218-9999. We're going to get into some texts. We also want to give away a chance to qualify for a $100,000 hole-in-one opportunity over at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. And it is our $100,000 hole-in-one contest, which is presented by Golf Town. Swing big this Father's Day. Find Dad or yourself the perfect gift at Golf Town, whether it's Dad, who's a seasoned pro, or just starting out. Golf Town has everything he needs to hit the greens in style, from clubs and apparel to accessories, tech, and more. They've got it all covered. If you can't decide, keep it simple with the Golf Town GC. Let Dad choose gear from his favorite golf brands like Callaway, TaylorMade, Puma, Nike, Garmin, and more. This Father's Day, give the gift of golf. Visit them in store or at golftown.com for more details. They've had some unbelievable sales lately, and Dad usually appreciates some golf gear. So today's keyword for a chance to enter the hole-in-one contest that we're doing at the Ranch, hole 17, 180 yards out. I believe it's happening July 3rd. Text in right now to 780-218-9999 the word sun, like the sun up in the sky. S-U-N. Text that right now, 780-218-9999 sun, for your chance to enter and be qualified for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, where you might get a chance to sink a hole-in-one. 25 people get qualified and will be finalists, and say the third golfer sinks it miraculously,
It's done.
It's done. So that's why I have to say chance, because Owanik is a big rules and regs guy. And he's like, by law, because of our insurance, you have to say a chance. So 25 people will get a chance at a hole-in-one for $100,000 at the Ranch.
That
Son.
Matty, hey, just crossing his T's and dotting his I's.
That's what he does, and lowercase j's.
And lowercase J's.
Yeah, don't forget the lowercase j's. Sun, S-U-N. Text that in right now for your chance to qualify. Zach DeCum will pick someone, and then we'll have the draw to see who the next contender, whatever you want to call it, will be. $100,000 hole-in-one contest in conjunction with the Ranch Golf and Country Club and our fine partners over at Golf Town.
Zach
All right.
DeCum,
What's up, Belzer?
do you know my number, right? Don't be afraid to not pick it, buddy. Don't be afraid.
I actually don't know your number by heart.
What?
And I'm not going to check. Yeah, not by heart, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to text in, and I'm going to say, it's me, pick that one.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, nasty chat. I'm winning it.
Okay, I've seen you golf.
If even a blind squirrel finds a nut, Tommy.
Every now and then, I know. We'll be golfing this summer for sure, Belzy. All right, presenting sponsors of the Oil Stream, Coolbet. Ride with Edmonton Sports Talk all playoffs long at Coolbet. Watch for the EST parlays every game day, only at Coolbet.com. They are a huge part of what we do here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Okay, Belzy, let's go inside the inbox. I'm curious to see what people are thinking going into this series. Are the nerves starting to pump up? Are people getting nervous? Are they anxious? Are they worried? I'm sure there's all of that. I feel like just talking to people in and around the city, there's like a quiet calm this time around. 06 was a lightning in a bottle, as Dwayne Rolson called it, and I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way.
You think there's calm in this city?
I do.
Really?
I feel like it's like a calm.
How long have you
before
been doing this for?
How long?
How long have you been doing this radio
TV thing?
TV
17
thing?
years.
17 years. and I'm not taking shots at you guys, Oiler fans, but you think there's a calm right now?
I
Man,
wonder.
people's nails are probably being chewed all the way down.
So it's a calm before the storm, is how you would describe it.
I'm not. There is no calm right now. I think people
What
are
are
like.
people telling you right now?
I think people are nervous. I think there's definite excitement, but I don't know if there's calm. I think people are ramping themselves up right now.
Okay.
I think the calm has been the fact that it's taken so long to get this first
Maybe
game
that's
out of
part
the
of
way.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it.
Just feels like there's not really hockey because it's so late right now, but
Yeah.
like it's a Stanley Cup. Who's calm?
Me?
You're calm?
Yeah.
Man, I'm nervous.
I'm excited.
I'm
I
nervous.
can't wait to see what happens.
I'm excited.
I feel like we're in for a long series.
I want to see this city go bananas.
I want to see it pop.
I want to see it pop.
I want to see it pop.
More than the. Never mind.
Okay. Let's go to Propane Pimp. What's up, Propane Pimp? Says Tkachuk has learned or leaned more into his game and relied less on his gamesmanship. Yeah, maybe a sign of maturation. And then Propane Pimp also added, if you were to compare Dallas and Florida line by line, D pairing by D pairing, where would Florida get the advantages? The way I see it is Florida has the best first line and the best third pairing defense, but all other lines and pairings advantage goes to Dallas. Do you see it that same way? So this is a comparison from Propane Pimp between Dallas and Florida, and he says best first line would go to Florida, and then the best third pairing would go to Florida as well over Dallas. And keep in mind what we saw from Dallas on the third pair was Ryan Suter at 39 years of age, and then Alex Petrovic, who hadn't played in the NHL in 5 years. It was cobbled together because Hakanpää was out, and then Tanev was banged up at the end as well.
I would say that in net, Florida would have the advantage.
With Bobrovsky, yeah, okay. I don't think anybody's denying that. And we've said that basically every series, maybe outside of LA, where we said the Oilers have the
I
advantage.
think their
in it.
first two lines with Florida are better than Dallas's first two lines, no?
So you had Robertson, Hintz when he was healthy and came back in game 3.
Yeah.
And then they had Pavelski there for a bit. Did they not have Johnston up there for a little bit? They rotated a bit.
To me, Dallas had like 4 second lines. That's what it seemed like.
Okay. No, like, true first line?
No
in your
true
opinion?
first line. Like, who would be their true first line? Wyatt Johnson,
Robertson.
Hintz and Robertson, but like, okay, on the Oilers, what would they be right now? That same line,
Second line.
second line. Well, probably third line because you're not replacing Draisaitl.
I'd put
Robertson probably could go up to the second line. Johnson could probably go to the second line. So,
I'd say at least second line.
okay, so that's a second line on Edmonton. I still think that the Florida top 2 lines are better than Dallas's top 2 lines.
Okay. And then the third pairing D, I think we're conceding that. We agree with Propane Pimp.
Yeah. Sure.
Just even if Hakanpää was there and he was paired up with Suter and it wasn't Petrovic, I think we would still give Dallas the edge, or pardon me, Florida the edge with the third pairing D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Propane Pimp follows up, says, I'd take the Johnston line over the Bennett line. That's Bennett, Tkachuk, and who's the third guy on there? I just have it. I have it here. Evan Rodriguez, who's kind of been a nomad lately. Remember, he was with Colorado.
Yeah, he's been kind of all
he's
over the place.
Pittsburgh, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's tough. I mean, sure, we'll call that a wash. I got no issues with that.
Buffalo for Rodriguez as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see what you're coming at that with. Let's go to Mike in Thunder Bay. Says, I keep graphics that the Panthers have shut down the best players on the teams that they have played so far. But one thing people forget to mention is that none of those guys are Connor freaking McDavid. If your game plan is, quote, just shut down McDavid, good luck to you on that, says Mike in Thunder Bay.
I agree. Because you still have to deal with Draisaitl. And you still got to deal with Evander Kane when he's playing.
Zach Hyman's been excellent.
Hyman. Nuge has been really good.
Not Fogle. Holloway's game has emerged.
Holloway is stepped up. So I sure try to shut them down. Like, to me, I think that's a terrible game plan. Let's send
Just shut down
multiple
McDavid, quote,
players
unquote.
at McDavid, Well, you're just going to open up room for everybody else. And it's not like these are the Oilers of yesteryear.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net.
Okay, here's a good one. This is in regard to keeping the puck out, especially on special teams. Hampton Steve chiming in says, afternoon, boys. Any concerns with the penalty kill with no Derek Ryan or Sam Carrick in the lineup? Pairs will be Janmark and Brown, McLeod and Fogle, and RNH and who? I think it would probably be Henrique. And Henrique's been pretty good on the PK.
So there's no concerns there.
No, overall, the concern you're saying, nope, they should be okay.
They should be fine. Like, I mean, Nuge has been PKing.
Yeah, all year, many
all
years.
He does a good job with that. Henrique is really solid. You can kind of see there was a bit of a bump when he came back in the lineup.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be fine.
It's interesting how this has evolved. Yeah. What have you made of Janmark and the way Brown have played?
Man, they've been just like they've been almost just carefree.
Dogs, man.
They've been on it, relentless. Janmark, you saw you were starting to see that come in the second half of the year. Brown has just been a steady build because obviously coming back from that massive injury, steady build. I found that, and this is just my opinion, please share yours after, but the minute Brown scored his first goal, there was a weight lifted off of him. And then he just went out and played. And he's just been getting steadily better and better and better. And now we're seeing it here right now where it's like, oh, if this was the Brown that we had all year, I'm not sure he probably takes as much of a beating as he did over the course of the year.
Definitely not. He was pissed off that he sat out that LA series.
100%.
He wanted to be playing, didn't get that opportunity. Dylan Holloway took advantage of his opportunity late in the season. Pretty damn good. Holloway has had his coming out party, if you will. He's established himself as an NHLer. When the games have gotten tougher, his game has improved, which is great. Now that cost Brown. Fogel's been a healthy scratch. They had a 20-goal scorer who's been a healthy scratch in Warren Fogle. They've had role-playing guys like
Corey Perry was healthy.
Perry was a healthy scratch. Now it's Ryan and Carrick. So it's interesting how throughout these series the lineups have evolved and the level of play they've gotten from those depth players has changed as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that evolves.
And every single time a guy has gone out, he's come back in and he's elevated his game. So if you have the ability to get that out of Fogle, well, that's a good thing for the Oilers.
I hope he plays pissed off.
So do I.
If he gets on there. But it looks like, according to Ryan Rishaug, he will be back.
Ton of speed. He's big. He's got decent skill.
Yep.
And like you just mentioned, he put up 20 goals. He's a useful player. And so maybe he just needed that reset to kind of, okay, hey, this is what my game actually is, as opposed to I'm not the guy that's going to go out and try to toe drag 15 people.
That's not his game.
Sometimes he tries to do that.
That's not his
and
game.
it gets him in trouble. He is a north-south player. Hard on the forecheck, physical, and then get to the net and use your shot if you have the ability to do that. But you don't need to try to dance everybody like this. Sorry, man. That's
not his game.
It's not your game.
Simple.
Let McDavid do that.
It is the Oil Stream. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle, Zach to come with you right here on EST. Text us 780-218-9999. The eve of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Oilers returning to the final for the first time in 18 years, seeking the team's 6th Stanley Cup championship, first since 1990. Could they snap the streak in Canada since 1993 when the Habs did it? We shall see. We should mention, too, Boston Pizza, playoff menu, now available, featuring the halftime square footer, a flight of wings, the triple play platter, and new Chipotle chicken quesadillas. Fuel your fandom at Boston Pizza. We thank them for being on board with us when the Oil Stream was a podcast for a couple of years, and now that it's a full-length show on our station, go check out BP. I love the square footer, and the meat lover is good, but I really like the buffalo chicken one. It's delicious. You could use that right now. Or Chipotle chicken quesadilla.
I could use something.
You could use something for sure. Oilers lines, if you didn't catch it earlier, this is from Shoggy, Ryan Rishaug from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast. You can catch Shoggy every Monday morning on the Mandate with Dusty and Eric on the Nielsen Show. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl centering Kane and Holloway. Adam Henrique between Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown. And then you've got Ryan McLeod, fourth-line center with Warren Fogle and Corey Perry. Your defensive partners are Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse returns to the pair with Ceci. And then you've got Philip Broberg on the right side and Brett Kulak back to his left side on the third pair. Are you curious to see how long Philip Broberg lasts in this lineup? And do you think we see Vinny Desharnais relatively soon?
Broberg he impressed me last series.
Same. Pleasant surprise.
Thought he skated extremely well. I thought he did some really good things. I thought he was starting to get comfortable in the lineup. He was acclimating to the speed of the game very well. This is going to be obviously a different story, different test, because it's a different style that you have. I think he's still going to be fine.
You don't think they're going to... Do you think Florida's game plan might be to attack him? And if you're
I'm sure
if
it
you're
will.
Florida, if you're Paul Maurice, how do you look at this Oilers lineup and say, this is the weak spots, here's where we're going to hit them on pressure points? Okay.
I'm going after your defense if I'm Florida.
Darnell Nurse?
I'm going after everybody. I'm going to try to run Bouchard as much as possible. I'm going to try to get him into the 15th row of the building.
Whose job is that? Is that a Tkachuk?
Is
that a Bennett?
From
is that
this
a
team,
Lomberg?
this is everybody. Everybody does it. Like, they are relentless. I think I saw a stat. They had 738 hits through 17 games.
Jeez.
It's a crazy amount of hits. The Oilers are like 400. It's different. So, if I'm Florida, I am going after the defense of the Oilers, because if you can wear these guys down, we've seen already this playoffs where you've got your top pairing, and then there's some guys that struggled.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can get those same guys to now look over the shoulder and be struggling a little bit, well, now you've got a leg up, because it's something that the Oilers have. It's always kind of been an issue. It's solving itself. Nurse is playing way better. It's locking it down a little bit more. But your job is you need to get one of those defensemen off their game and out of the series. It opens up a lot. So that's what I'm doing if I'm Florida.
I understand that rationale. I really do. What would you do if you're the Florida Panthers? What concerns you about the Edmonton Oilers going into the Stanley Cup Final? Text us 780-218-9999 and then get into the nasty chat. This one from Robin says, Janmark has brought his, quote, Lord Bolton game.
Nice.
Dolphinius says, not a fan of Perry's postseason. He's more washed up than a decades-old set of dishes. Epiphany says, I really hope we see Sam Gagner in at least one game more if he does great. It's not because of any reason other than he's proven his abilities. I think Gagner is a glorified cheerleader at this point, unfortunately. I wanted to see Sam get in there, but not happening, I don't think.
If any time, it should have happened against LA.
Yeah.
But,
well,
fan of that guy.
Me too.
Yep.
Good man.
Yep.
We do have more audio and video to get to. Zach to come. Did I see Stuart Skinner? Who do you have there? Stu Skinner?
Stuart Skinner and Warren Fogle.
Okay, well, I think more importantly, probably Stu Skinner here. So let's start with the Oilers netminder heading into his first Stanley Cup Final appearance.
Yeah, don't really feel too much pressure on that side of things. No matter what, no matter how many people watch, no matter the scenario, no matter what you're playing for or whatever time of the year, our job is fairly simple. I know my job's simple just because I've been doing it for a long time. So I just got to keep the puck out of the net and do my very best to do that. And I think that's the pressure that I take on, is just being able to do my job at a very high level.
You mentioned you guys still have some adversity to go through in this round. You had some adversity this season. Here you are. Kind of talk about your journey to this moment.
Yeah, I think that with the way that our team played all year, going through what we had to go through, I think that's a massive reason why we are where we are. going through that, you really create a strong friendship, an incredible bond going through something that we had to overcome, and we dug ourselves a really big hole. We've dug ourselves a big hole in playoffs at times, and the way that we keep on crawling out, and I think that just shows you the resiliency and the hard work of this team. And again, I mean, you said it, playing against Florida, they're extremely talented and amazing team, very well coached. So it's going to be another amazing challenge for us to go through. Oh, sorry. Either one.
What about you personally? Your sort of
Yeah.
season for this one?
Yeah, honestly, pretty well the same thing. There's been some, just like every season, there's so many ups, so many downs. And the way that I've been able to bounce back and, find myself and, finding that resiliency in myself is obviously something that I'm very proud of. But it also shows just myself that I'm stronger than maybe that I think I am. And I think that's great, especially going into, where we are now. No matter what happens, we're going to have the strength to just keep playing and to keep working hard and to keep enjoying the experience. I mean, nobody knows who's going to win and what's going to happen. So no matter what happens, team's got my back and I got the team's back, and I think that's what matters.
That's 25-year-old Stu Skinner sounding like a 35-year-old with some wisdom there. Not feeling how does he not feel any pressure there, Belsey?
He's played in some big games.
Sure.
Obviously not as big as this, but I just think that he's in a good headspace, and he understands that he's just got to be calm and go out there and make saves. And I think that his reset actually helped him.
Yep.
And I know that the Oilers brought in a mental performance coach that has been with the team for most of the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's been there all season.
And he's
worked with Kobe, I think.
Yeah, and he really has been working with Skinner a lot more and getting him kind of in that right mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, sounds exactly like that. So it's good.
Yeah, we'll see if that translates onto the ice in the Stanley Cup Final. Couple texts to wrap things up, and I also will be providing the text in word to get in on the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. Congratulations to Nick, by the way, who's our qualifier to get in on the $100,000 hole-in-one giveaway. Nick, well done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for texting in. And we still have that Great Outdoors Comedy Festival giveaway for day 2. I think that's the Saturday. We have a VIP table for 4. So we're going to get our next qualifier in at the very end of the show as we wind things down. Eden texts in, Belsey. Eden says, hey, boys, I wouldn't be surprised if they target Ekholm heavily. He 100%. Is the major defensive linchpin. Nurse would be next man up. Florida picked on Trouba all series.
I completely agree. When Ekholm was hurt early in the season,
yes,
they were not the same defensively.
No, they were not.
So, yes, I'm going after him. And I want to make him feel pain every single time he touches a puck.
But he's a giant. He's a Viking.
He is a Viking.
And he's
so
done this
good luck
before.
with that. But
he's done this before. He's been to a Stanley Cup Final.
He's a big factor.
Yeah.
He's a massive factor. He's the guy that kind of gets Bouchard going. He's the guy that calms Bouchard down. He's just a massive piece of that defense core, and I 1,000% agree that they're going after Ekholm. They're going after Bouchard, and they might be going after Nurse.
Yes. George Mumford is who Jasmine said. That's the guy we're talking about, the guru.
The guru.
If you will. Worked with Kobe and MJ.
Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality. He's written a couple of books. He's been with the Oilers all season, and he helped Stu Skinner out. And Jasmine says, George Mumford is the GOAT.
Yeah.
So we should give some credit
nice
where
work,
credit
Jasmine.
is due.
Nice work.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Maybe one more text via the nasty chat. Let's see what we got. Colton's talk about engraving Gagne's name on the cup if the Oilers were to win. I think you have to provide a list, but there's a prerequisite for amount of games played. You have to be a cup final game or amount of games in the regular season or a certain amount of games in the playoffs. But I think that they have some...
He'll be on that list without question.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's do it. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. It's going in, when is it? July 12th to the 14th at Kinsman Park. Alley Cat is the beer provider, and 6 O'Clocker Lager will be there. It's going to be awesome, and some great acts that will be down at Kinsman Park. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, like I said, July 12th to the 14th at Kinsman Park, featuring Shane Gillis, Andrew Schultz, Kevin Hart, Burt Kreischer, Whitney Cummings, and more. For tickets, www.greatoutdoorscomedyfestival.com, and watch for our partners over at Alley Cat to be the exclusive beer sponsor of the event, featuring the 6 O'Clocker Lager. All right, for your chance to win a VIP table for 4 for Saturday of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, text in the keyword Spotlight to 780-218-9999. Spotlight. Text it in right now. Zacticum will pick a qualifier, and you'll be in the draw to win a VIP table for 4 for this Saturday at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. Spotlight, because the spotlight will be on the stars on the stage at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, and the spotlight shines brightest at the Stanley Cup Final as the Edmonton Oilers get set to take on the Florida Panthers in search of the franchise's 6th cup, which would be amazing. First in 34 years. What are you laughing at?
Jenna, Kevin Hart backed into my shed. Blank that guy.
And with that,
nice.
we will say
what
goodbye.
a way to end it.
That is the Oil Stream, brought to you by our good friends over at Boston Pizza, of course, Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen, and Coolbet. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in, listened. You know we appreciate you. Replay of the Nielsen Show coming up next. For Zacticum and Bellsy, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.